Welcome back to GTD. Yes, I know you had to watch through Texas and listen to us talk about Texas, but that's over. That is in the past. That is 300 and hopefully never days away. But
it's being replaced by Auto Club Speedway.
I'd rather them race in the parking lot that is Auto Club Speedway right now than whatever this is. They'd have some cool little ramps with the dirt pits and everything. But anyways, Kansas, that's where we are. We're not in Kansas. We are in Kansas.
We're in Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah, but the race is in Kansas. Very, very, very good racing in the next gen car. So very exciting to look forward to. I know you're like, but it's an intermediate like Texas. It's not like Texas. And how dare you? How dare you? Let's be honest. Don't put Kansas in that name. But it has delivered some great finishes in the last few, really since the next gen car was debuted.
As far as racing ability, it's probably been one of the top two tracks.
I would agree. I think Kansas and honestly, I may put Homestead had that one really good race that kind of like amplifies it, but Kansas, like all across the board, has been very good.
It's been very
so great things to get excited for. But what are you excited, or who are you excited to cross the line first?
Well, I am excited to watch Kyle Busch break his winless streak this week, and I know, but you look at him last year at this track, the fall race. I think people have forgotten. He had a top 5 car in that fall race, and his pit crew went, I forgot how to pit crew things, and just nuked his race. And he was good at Texas last week, was really fast at Texas, had a bad day at Homestead, let's be honest, was okay at Vegas until he hit the wall. I'm kind of rethinking. Never mind. He's going to be good. I'm manifesting it. Kyle Busch. He's going to be good at Kansas. Kyle Busch delivers the win. RCR is usually pretty fast here in the next gen era, and I think Kyle Busch gets it done.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick. I don't think it happens. RCR hasn't been bad here in the next gen area.
Why would you think Kyle Busch wouldn't win?
Who knows? He's
going to be leading with 2 laps to go, and the track's going to get like drone striked somehow.
Yeah, but RCR hasn't been bad at this race, and we've seen more from him this year. We've seen better speed from him this year. So I don't hate that pick at all. I'm going with. I can't believe not one of us went with the 2311 driver.
I know.
I even had a 2311 driver written down at the last second.
I had Riley Herbst.
At the last second, nixed him. And I'm going Alex Bowman. He showed some solid speed. I mean, he's been on the up and up since the playoffs started last year. I think he gets a win this year. I think it comes at Kansas. He's doing all right here in his history at this track in the next gen car. He's fourth among drivers in the next gen era with a 7.2 average finish. He's got some laps led here. He's finished in the top 10 every time we've raced here. Literally every time we've raced here. Hasn't DNF'd once here. Is good here. Hendrick is good this year. You know they're going to bring cars ready to dominate.
I don't hate the Bowman pick at all. I think that William Byron is going to be really good this week too. Obviously, Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott's going to qualify 27th and finish 9th probably. 2311 is going to be up there, and I was talking to you about this a little bit earlier today. Bubba Wallace this weekend, I think, is a major threat to win. This is the best season he's had in his career so far. Has great speed. The crew chief change has been just what the doctor ordered for him, and he already has a win here, one of the tracks where he does have a win, and I think he is going to know this is a great chance for him. He is going to be flying this week. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the 23 does. Obviously, Tyler Reddick is always quick here. We'll see what he can do. Ross Chastain is your most recent winner at Kansas and is coming off a second-place finish at Texas, so I would not discount him either. And then Ryan Blaney will run top 5 all day and somehow finish 20th. Yeah, Ryan Blaney will start 30th and within 10 laps be second because he just drives, the fastest car on the field. And then a helicopter will come scoop him up out of the air and then put him back in Auto Club. He'll get hit by the Sharknado.
He'll replace Brad Keselowski in the new Sharknado movie.
Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski will be somewhere 20 laps down, staring up like, how could this happen?
Yeah, yikes. But Brad Keselowski has now been qualified for a dark horse. We're allowed to pick him for any race we want to as dark horses.
Since he cannot finish top 10. At this point in the year, since he has no top 10s, he was lifeless at super speedways. Brad Keselowski now qualifies for dark horse conversations.
Yes. So, not conversations. He's 100% a dark horse. Yes. And did you pick him this week as your dark horse?
I did not, but I'll tell you who I did pick is Zane Smith. And Zane Smith has been running very well this season.
Got his first pole 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, had a good run at Vegas earlier this year.
Yep.
I don't think he gets pole because it's an intermediate track and not a super speedway, and he drives a Ford and not a Chevy. But I think Zane Smith is going to be very, very solid this week. I would almost guarantee a top 15, as crazy as that sounds. I think he is so fast right now. He's honestly been the leader at front row this season. He's been the best car out of the 3 front row guys, and I will say, I think this is kind of the dark horse version of not taking 2311, where none of us have picked a Spire car. Yeah. Based on their intermediate speed so far this year. But who do you have?
I have Eric Jones. Both legacy cars look great at Texas. And I trust Eric Jones a little bit more than Nemechek right now, especially at a track like Kansas. I think they're going to bring some speed here. Maybe they're with Toyota and Gazoo now, so maybe bounce off some ideas of 2311, get some data.
Although I'm pretty sure, aren't they independent from Joe Gibbs in 2311, and that's why they're like having to rebuild their whole notebook?
Yes, they are, but Toyota partnership. So maybe there's something there. But yeah, I'm going Eric Jones.
They sneak in and steal the Riley Herbst notebook, both finished 35th and 36th.
And Riley Herbst wouldn't even notice. But yeah, Eric Jones has looked good. Really, the last few races, legacies look good. So I'm going Eric Jones as my dark horse. I don't think it's a bad dark horse.
I think it's definitely possible. I actually had Eric Jones written down first. And
really?
Then changed it. Or actually I had AJ Allmendinger and then changed it to Zane Smith. But Eric Jones is the first guy I thought of. He's been great at these intermediate tracks so far this year.
Real quick before we exit, you mentioned Bubba Wallace and how the crew chief change maybe has really given him the best year of his career.
Yeah.
I don't want to answer this question today, but I want to propose the question today.
Is this an Alan Gustafson conversation?
Yes. If Chase Elliott goes out and runs abysmally like at Texas in Kansas this week, is it time to start having that conversation?
I think it's time to start having that conversation already, personally. I think Alan Gustafson is too proven, too good of a crew chief to go, okay, you don't deserve to be here anymore, but something in that team, whether it's him, the engineers, it's not going to be Chase, obviously, but something has to change with the way they're doing things with the 9 team, because they are painfully clearly off the pace of the other 3 Hendrick cars.
Yeah, and
we talked about this in the Texas episode a bit, but Chase Elliott has been the only Hendrick car so far this season where outside of Bowman Gray, they haven't had winning speed.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's Alan Gustafson or what, but he's been so cookie cutter the last really 2 to 3 years. And you see the races where he's not cookie cutter, the car finishes top 5. Like when he goes against the grain, it works out for him. I don't know if he's questioning himself or if Chase Elliott's making calls from the driver's seat saying,
I think
let's be cookie cutter.
They're both conservative.
Yes, they're both playing
Elliott
very
is not
safe.
a guy that's going to take big risks and be overly aggressive. Alan Gustafson is not that kind of personality either. And I think that's where in the past you saw Gustafson take big risks with different drivers because they were aggressive drivers.
Yeah. Well, and even earlier in Chase Elliott's career, when he was winning those races and was a more aggressive driver than he is, even Indianapolis last year, probably the most aggressive he drove. Probably the best race he had, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had the penalty, which kind of killed his day. But honestly, he had the winning car.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was up there and he was being aggressive, the only reason he got the penalty was because of they were being aggressive, you know? So it's weird that you be aggressive and it works out, but then you just don't do it. Yeah. And I get they're trying just to get their way in the playoffs and have points and things like that. But we talked about this in Texas. You know, there's more to winning in NASCAR right now than points.
Exactly. One other guy I do think you should keep your eye on this weekend is Josh Berry. Obviously had the win at Vegas, was leading when he wrecked because he hit the bump at Texas Motor Speedway. If you want to hear our conversations on the bump at Texas Motor Speedway, tune into the earlier episode from this week.
Turn down your headphones.
Yeah. I actually still don't apologize. But Josh Berry, I do think, is another guy to watch out for. And imagine if I would have told you after Joey Logano's win at Texas, imagine if I would have told you at the start of the season that Ryan Blaney was the last of those 4 cars without a win. Austin Cindric has the Talladega win. Logano won at Texas. Maybe it's just Blaney completes the Penske trifecta this week, and it's 3 different Penske drivers on a row.
I can see that happening. Ryan Blaney, great at every track. Probably the best, all-around driver right now if his car didn't explode from time to time. But I don't hate that at all.
Flaw, just exploding from time. Yeah. You can ask Denny Hamlin about what that feels like after Texas.
Yeah. But that's all.
Hit with the Cars 2 camera.
Yeah, and that's all we have. Make sure you watch Texas. It's going to be very exciting. Then tune back in next week. What did I say, Texas?
Yeah, you did.
Ugh, gross. Watch Kansas, and then tune back next week. We'll recap Kansas and talk about What is it? All-Star break or Charlotte?
I believe it's All-Star break.
I think so too.
It's All-Star break because Charlotte is the first Prime Video race.
That is true. All-Star. After Kansas, so we'll get into that next week. But make sure you tune back in. Make sure you watch our F1 recap of the very chaotic Miami Grand Prix review.
Legos.
Yes, the Lego cars are very fun. And, of course, baseball will be going on for the next months and months and months because it's how baseball works, and we love it. But with that being said, I'm Keegan Miller. That's Micah Farmer, and we'll see y'all next week.